Hey, yeah, what up, though, ladies and gentlemen? Back at it again with another video. You know, the reason I have to constantly remind y'all I'm 21 years old is because I have to make sure y'all understand that my perspective is going to come from a different angle than a lot of other men in this space on YouTube. My perspective is going to be a lot different than a man who's 31, 41, 51. You know, I'm Gen Z. So I'm coming from a whole different place. I got to ask the question. You know, a lot of men, they hit a certain age, 35, 40, 45, 50, whatever. And all of a sudden, they decide that they want to start mentoring young boys. Only young boys. Not mentoring kids, not mentoring teenagers, but only mentoring young boys, only mentoring teenage boys. And I've seen so much of that growing up. And I don't understand it. I have questions about this. Now, first, let me get this out the way, because I know a lot of dudes going to listen to this and be like, oh, well, Chris, are you saying that as men, we shouldn't pass our knowledge and our resources on to young boys? No, that's not what I'm saying. You willfully ignorant ass niggas. That's not what I'm saying. Because there's many extremely solid men who build extremely solid programs for boys and teenage boys. You know, for example, when I was young, I had a friend whose father used to do workshops called My Sister's Keeper, where he would talk to young boys about how to be a better brother to their sister. But even that ties into my question. Where are the fathers at? Shouldn't being a better brother to your sister be something that your father teaches you? Here's another example. About 2 years ago, a friend of mine and I were invited from our college. We were invited to an elementary school about an hour away from where we go to school at in Ann Arbor. I go to University of Michigan. We got invited to go there and be part of a team of a few other men where we took all the young boys, I believe it was grades 2nd through 5th grade, and we ran them through workshops for a whole day. It was about 8 hours. We had workshops about hygiene, how to tie a tie, you know, how to prepare yourself every morning for school. We had little areas where we talked to them about how to speak as a man, how to have that command in your voice, how to speak from your diaphragm, how to speak in a way where you will command attention and demand respect. We had all these little workshops for them. We had spaces where we just played games with them, chess, cards, and just talked to them, chopped it up with them. And it went really well. I really enjoyed myself. We all had a great time, but I still have to ask, shouldn't your father be the one teaching you hygiene as a young boy? Shouldn't your father be the one being the example of how to speak as a man? Shouldn't your father be the one who teaches you how to tie a tie? You know, because I vividly remember my pops teaching me how to tie a tie. I believe it was my 4th grade, you know, passing ceremony, whatever, going from 4th to 5th grade. I had a gray shirt with a gray and I think blue tie, and he was teaching me how to tie. It took me like an hour and a half to learn it. It was pissing me off, but he got it to me, and I never forgot that. Shouldn't they fathers be the ones doing these things? So then I have to ask another question. Okay, we got the first one out the way. Where are the fathers? The second one is, are we growing complacent in the lack of fathers in our community? You know, because I don't see a lot of workshops for men trying to teach other men how to be better fathers. I don't see a lot of programs and workshops out here for men trying to teach other men how to be better co-parents or how to navigate child support systems. I don't see a lot of workshops and programs like that for other men where men teach other men things. All I see is these programs for boys and a bunch of men trying to play daddy to these boys. Now, like I said, I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all these programs are just dudes trying to play daddy. It's hella solid programs out here by solid men. But a lot of them are programs by weirdos and lames. How do I know? Because being young, I was able to meet and interact with these men because I was their target audience. I was the one being recruited. See, that's why I have to remind y'all of my age, because I come from a different angle with this. You know, when a guy come on YouTube saying, I want to mentor young black boys, I can tell if he's solid or not. I could tell if he a lame or not. I could tell if he's a weirdo or not. I could tell if he just trying to play daddy to a bunch of boys because he wants something that's going to fill a void. I could tell if he just trying to play daddy to a bunch of fatherless boys so that he can get to their mamas. You know, I call it Dr. Umar syndrome. Dr. Umar syndrome and the Dr. Umar effect. You know, because Dr. Umar is all about young boys. Where them donations at? Where them donations at? Where them donations at? If you don't donate, you don't care about young boys. You know, we all know how Dr. Umar be talking. Everything he does is for young boys, and he has daughters. Why don't we care about the daughters too? Why don't we care about the girls? You know, it's one thing if you're doing something that's very specific to young boys, like teaching how to tie a tie or something like that, even though I said they fathers need to be doing that. But okay, if it's very specific to young boys, then okay, that's cool. But you see a lot of men, they want to teach young boys financial literacy. They want to teach young boys how to exercise and how to be healthy. They want to teach young boys all these things that would be very useful for girls as well. Wouldn't you want your daughter to be able to learn financial literacy? Wouldn't you want your daughter to learn how to be fit and be healthy? You know, really think about that for a minute. Think about elementary school when you would have, you know, father and son events, father and son field trips where we would go, all the fathers and all the young boys, we would go and rent out like a whole rec center, play basketball, floor hockey, all that kind of stuff, or we go out camping, that kind of stuff. And then they have mother and daughter retreats where they go do their thing. But we also had mother-son dances and father-daughter dances. You know, everything was balanced. You had things where the men interacted with the boys, where the fathers interacted with the sons. You had things where the women interacted with the girls, the mothers interacted with their daughters. And then you had crossovers where you had fathers with their daughters and mothers with their sons. Everything was balanced. It wasn't about, oh, everything is for young boys or everything is for young girls. No, a real thorough man who's for his community and who's actually for the youth is for the youth. It's not just about male youth. It's about youth. You know, take a look at Zayak's Institute. Shout out to Q Butter. It's not just a school for young black boys. No, it's a school for young black children. You feel me? Think about these things. I'm going to come back with another video following up with this about why I think that certain types of men only want to do things for young boys. Because growing up, it was always a certain type of guy who would stop by, visit the school, visit our classroom and say, hey, you know, my name's Mr. Blah, 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 and I run this program for young black boys. It was a certain type of guy who did that. And then there was another type of guy who would come in and say, hey, my name is Mr. Blah, 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 and I run a program for young black children, or I run this program for black teenagers. It wasn't gender specific. It wasn't only boys. It was youth. And what I've noticed when I think about it real quick, just off the fly, it was always the more solid guys, the guys who didn't look lame, didn't sound lame, didn't act lame, who were about the youth. And it was always guys who we didn't really have a lot of respect for, who were only about the boys, you know, which is ironic. They come in, they all about the boys, but the boys wasn't for them. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was with me growing up. The dudes who was only about the boys, we thought that was weird. We thought that was odd. You know, unless it was some father-son thing, something like that. We thought that was weird, bro. Like, okay, you want to teach us financial literacy. Why can't we bring the girls? Why can't the girls be in the workshop with us? You know, we young. Why can't the girls be in there with us? Why it's got to be a bunch of dudes? I'm just asking questions. But I'm going to come back with my hypotheses, my reasons why I think these things happen the way they happen. That's the topic for today, man. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.